Hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello, hi. Today's video is going to be like a little bit ranty. Yeah, that's the best way I can put it. I haven't done like a good old-fashioned rant in a minute, but I just feel like I want to talk about this whole thing. I felt today like I felt when I first started my YouTube channel, which is just that like nobody else in my life literally at all cares about Jaclyn Hill launching new lipsticks, but I know that there's a large portion of the internet that one way or another has opinions. Either they're good or bad, like you have opinions and I want to know them. So today's video, we're going to be talking about, oh my god, candle of the day. I had to burn champagne toast today. It felt like the mood, you know? It felt like the moment. Today's video is also kind of an impromptu collab with my friend Abby Williamson here on YouTube. Her and I tend to have similar opinions on these types of topics, and also her and I tend to film videos that happen to go up like 1 to 2 days apart. So now when things like this happen, we just decide to do impromptu collabs and just kind of plan them on the same day, plan accordingly, so we're not like competing with each other's videos. We're just sharing the love. So go check out Abby's video after this one or before this one, whichever you want, because I am positive, I haven't seen her video yet, but I'm positive that she has some really good opinions about this whole situation as well, and she's also a really great channel. So go check her out. I think if there's anything else I needed to say before we just jump in head first into this one. Before we start anything with this whole thing, I have to say this because I feel like it's very important. I do feel that it is difficult to critique Jaclyn Hill at this point in time because she gets so ruthlessly attacked for pretty much everything she does. And I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair that every single little thing she does gets attacked. I don't. I think as a person who kind of commentates on the makeup community and obviously has made a lot of commentary videos about Jaclyn Hill, I can still look back and be like, yeah, the comments made constantly about her weight, comments constantly trying to catch her in like little lies that don't matter, people speculating on her sobriety. Just because she's wearing like a t-shirt that has a beer company on it means that she's not sober anymore. Like all of these little tiny constant attacks against Jaclyn, I wholeheartedly disagree with. And honestly, it frustrates me as somebody who kind of doesn't really believe in the whole cancel culture thing, but absolutely believes in like holding people accountable culture. Because every time you pick on somebody for small nitpicky things or you're going so far as to bully people, which is what I think a lot of accounts online do with Jaclyn, you're kind of invalidating the bigger issue. Because there are legitimate things to criticize Jaclyn for. I'm going to talk about a couple of them in this video. Like, there are legitimate reasons to criticize her. But criticizing her because her cheeks are a little bit puffy is not a legitimate thing to be criticizing her about. Criticizing her for what she posts on Instagram is like not a legitimate thing. So I just want to make that really clear before we start. I'm not trying to come at this from like a mean-spirited place. I almost feel like people are sick of hearing about Jaclyn because a lot of the criticism is so petty, but I also think that it is important to talk about still, and that's why I grapple with. Anyway, I wanted to preface the whole video with that, because I in no means condone the bullying of Jaclyn Hill that happens on the internet. I think that's bullshit, but I do think that she does lack real accountability, and I think that that needs to be continually brought up until she is willing to take real accountability. So recently Jaclyn Hill announced that she would be relaunching her lipstick. She did say that they were going to be in a different formula. It looks like from the video that they're going to be liquid lipsticks. They are not in the traditional bullet lipsticks that she initially launched in, but it does look like it'll be a similar vibe, similar packaging, and also similar color story. It's going to be all nudes. I think the real issue I had with the launch in general and just the launch of the lipsticks, the real thing that just kind of like grinded at me while I was watching the video, she made this launch video, and the video's on her Instagram. It's like a minute long, and it's just basically, I think Abby put it really best. Her and I were talking about this before we filmed it, and Abby was basically like, it's like she's trying to be like an MLM girl boss, and that's exactly what it felt like. It had very strong like MLM girl boss vibes. Like there's a whole shot of her just like walking down a hallway with a purse, and I think that's supposed to imply that she is like the head person in charge and like the CEO of her company, but all that implies to me is that she walks down hallways with purses. Like I didn't understand it, and I think more the root, besides the fact that I just found the video itself to be a little bit, if I find it cringy, it doesn't matter, because like that is kind of an irrelevant point. I did personally find it a little cringy, but like that literally doesn't matter. Cringe factor isn't what gets me about this. What gets me about this is that Jaclyn Hill, and I know that it's like beating a dead horse because I've said this a million times, but she has never once come forward and properly explained what happened with the initial lipstick launch, how everything went so wrong, why everything went so wrong, and sort of like what happened with that whole disaster of a launch. She basically like took a year off of doing launches for anything for her brand as a result of this. And I think for me personally, I would have had so much more respect for her if she was going, I don't think she should just go away and her brand should just die because of this launch. I think I might have used to think that. I don't really think that anymore. I think that she still should be given the opportunity to create makeup. However, I don't think that she should be doing that without at least addressing fully and taking full accountability for what happened with this first launch. And especially now, she is using the sort of controversy and scandal that happened with the initial lipstick launch. She is using that as a marketing tool for this new lipstick launch, this new formula of lipsticks, and trying to spin it as if she's this like girl boss who overcame this crazy thing that happened to her to go on to make this really successful business. When in reality, her whole addressing of that as the CEO of Jaclyn Cosmetics, which is what she's claiming to be, her whole addressing that was awful. She never did it. She had that one YouTube video that she later said in an Instagram live was wrong. She did refund everybody's orders, which is pretty much the bare minimum that she could have done. And then we never heard about it again. She deleted all of her social media and disappeared for a year. So if that's what you call being a girl boss and being like a boss of your own company and overcoming, which was running away, hiding, waiting until it blew over, and then just putting out new products again like nothing happened, I don't know what to say about that. She acts like the lipstick situation was something horrible that happened to her instead of something horrible that she did, that she put out. Because regardless of if the lab screwed her over, regardless of any of that, like that literally doesn't matter. And honestly, maybe it would matter if she would just tell us that's what happened, but she hasn't. Regardless of any of that, her name was on those lipsticks and it was one of the worst launches in makeup history. And frankly, every launch since then, it's been kind of just like weird. Like she did those highlighters. I guess the formula's really good. And honestly, this is the problem with Jaclyn Cosmetics. I don't doubt that the formula of these products are good. One thing you can say about Jaclyn Hill is that she does know how to create good makeup when it's not hairy. Like she does know, even people who got lipsticks that weren't all hairy and defective said that they loved the formula. I've never doubted that her formulas are good. But the highlighters came out and they were good, but they were supposedly limited edition, but then they were around for an entire year and it was like the only launch you saw from her for a whole year. And then she came out with those mystery boxes, which a lot of people are hypothesizing that that was supposed to come out during Christmas time, but had to be pushed, which again, just like the lack of transparency is entirely problematic. I wouldn't even mind if a brand lacked that much transparency if they hadn't have gone through what Jaclyn Cosmetics had gone through with the lipsticks. I wouldn't even care if a brand wasn't that transparent. But when you have gone through the colossal mess that was those lipsticks, and then you still continue to just be completely non-transparent in all of your launches, it shows that you haven't grown or learned anything from that situation. And now she came out with the bronzer and blush duos, which I'm seeing mixed reviews. Some people like them, some people don't. But across the board, people are saying that the shade range is just ridiculous. They're like basically all the exact same shade range. I'll post a picture Samantha Ravndal posted, basically showing this shade range and being like, yeah, this is really bad. And honestly, the thing that I think is frustrating is that Samantha Ravndal got like called out for posting that. She got called petty for critiquing the Jaclyn Cosmetics launch. Because at this point, Jaclyn Hill, and kind of what I was talking about at the beginning, she has been so canceled that she's almost being uncanceled for being canceled. Like she has made so many mistakes that people are just willing to forgive and get over it just because they don't want to see her be torn down anymore. And honestly, I get that because she is so heavily criticized for every little thing that she does. Like, I get it. But at the same time, as somebody who like knows so many other brands that deserve the attention that her launches get. So many brands, I know. And honestly, Samantha Ravndal was criticized for that. She got called petty on Twitter because she was trying to call out Jaclyn's lack of shade range. So it's almost like you can't even give an honest review of the products because people don't want to hear any negativity about Jaclyn, especially fans of Jaclyn. And here's my thing. I don't really care if people support Jaclyn Cosmetics. I have friends who support the company. Like, I don't care if people want to spend their money on her products because they trust her. I think what bothers me, and specifically what bothers me about this relaunching of the lipsticks, is that she is using something that she has never fully addressed and never fully owned up to try and get sales for a new product. And that doesn't sit right with me. I do not understand how she can do this whole campaign around moving forward and starting again again and starting anew without first really addressing what went wrong the first time. It reminds me very similarly of how all these influencers are like, okay, this chapter of my life has closed and I'm opening a new chapter. That's like the influencer tagline whenever anything happens with them. This chapter's closed. It's like, yeah, but people still read the last chapter. We didn't get any. Imagine if you read a book and a plot line for a character just stopped in the middle of the book and then it was never talked about again. Like, serious part of the story, and it was just never spoken about again because they were like, well, that chapter finished, so we're done with that now. It would be infuriating. It's infuriating to watch somebody use this lipstick scandal as almost her arch to be like, look what I overcame, when she didn't really overcome anything. She hid her way through that and waited till it blew over. And this weird launch video where you're including your nieces, which I get it, like the power of family, like being an inspiration to young women. I understand that. I would find her so much more inspiring to young women if she actually would just own up to the mistakes that she've made. I would find that so much more inspiring. We need strong women in the beauty industry. We need strong women who are incredibly successful, because the reality is, and this is a whole separate topic, but in the beauty industry, predominantly it's run by men. The most successful makeup channels in this industry are men. So we need strong, powerful women to come in and like be bosses and like make these amazing makeup companies outselling other companies. Like, we need that inspiration. We need people to look up to. Jaclyn is not doing that just by getting this video where she's just like walking into her office carrying a Givenchy bag. Like, she's not proving anything by doing that. And honestly, I don't think that she's ever going to talk about it. Like, I don't think she's ever going to bring up the lipsticks again, because it doesn't benefit her to fully dive into. It would be the right thing to do, in my opinion, like the moral thing to do, but it doesn't benefit her to talk about the lipsticks again and sort of bring all of this up, because she has this sort of support of these die-hard fans that she's had for a very long time. And as long as she has their support, her cosmetics company will continue to do well, at least in the short term. However, I think there's something to be said about the long game when it comes to stuff like this. Having a longer lasting brand than just your YouTube channel, because right now her brand reputation outside of her fan base is pretty horrific. And even though she's being sold in Ulta now, which I'm sure is probably going to help her gain sort of a fan base outside of that, I don't see how she can continue on to sort of scale this operation and become even bigger if she doesn't first address the people that are still upset about the first launch. I don't see how you can fully grow to sort of your highest potential without first addressing that. And frankly, I think being a real boss and being a real boss babe, I don't like that term, but like being a real boss babe would be like owning your shit, like owning when you screw up. It's the same thing that we expect from any business owner, especially in the makeup industry. Being a boss is knowing that when your brand screws up, that's your name and you being able to talk about that and speak on that. Being a boss is not using this sort of manipulative marketing technique that paints you out to be the victim who's like overcoming everything. I feel like Jaclyn is just trying to low-key rewrite history, rewrite how the lipstick launch happened, because I think she's hoping that people will have forgotten everything that happened. And I personally just don't think that's okay. I think that's kind of scummy, especially when I really have tried not to say anything because I'm really trying not to harp on everything she does, but especially with this new lipstick launch, I just think that that is so scummy to do. Like, I do. I think if Jaclyn wanted to make this video showing growth from the lipsticks, she should have made a video addressing everything. Skipped all the dramatic music, skipped all the slow motion shots of her walking, like skip all of that and just fully talk about why they went wrong in the first place and what she did to make sure that that is never going to happen again with any of her launches. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just over the lying, really, honestly, with Jaclyn. It's so frustrating. Again, if you want to support the company with your own money, that's your decision. But for me, it's just like, I'm so over the lying, and I just don't want to support someone who time and time again just lies and like rewrites narratives and manipulates and does all of this stuff just in the name of being able to like sell cosmetics. Like, even the fact that she started posting a little bit more consistently to YouTube again, I was like, oh, well, she has a launch. Like, it's predictable. It's so predictable at this point. And I think it's so frustrating. And it's, you know what's sad about the whole thing too, is I don't even think that releasing a line of like liquid lipsticks or whatever the formula is going to be, I don't even think that's a bad idea after releasing the horrible lipsticks. Like, if she had fully addressed those lipsticks and then did this, I actually think that'd be genius, because she's not pushing out the same product, but she's doing something a little bit different that has a similar vibe to it. Like, I actually think that would be a fantastic business idea. I like the idea of reworking the lipsticks and making it sort of this like redemption story. I like the vision behind what she's doing. I just think the way that she's executing it is so poorly and shadily done that it's just like, how can I support that? How can anybody support that? I don't know. Anyway, I'm really excited to know what you guys think about this topic. I think it's a really interesting one. I think Jaclyn as a whole, after this, I'm probably just not going to say anything about the lipsticks anymore because it's like, I've said my piece now, but I think what really just irked me about this is I know that there are going to be people that maybe don't know the full story behind the lipsticks and just watch that video and think that it's like the lipsticks are the story of Jaclyn overcoming adversity in some way, and that's just like not what happened. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. I'm really curious to know your thoughts. Go check out Abby's video. I'll have it linked down below. And yeah, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I'm wearing on my face will be linked down below, along with some links and information about the rise and increase in Asian hate crimes since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Super important information. I'm going to have it there all of March, so make sure to go check those out. Stay informed, stay involved. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!